Investigation Commission on Enforced Disappearance submits second interim report to Chief Advisor Professor Mohammed Yunus. Over 300 victims of enforced disappearance still missing, says Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam. Different newspapers including Shamukal, Jugantor and Ittefaq have published fake news titled Freedom Fighters Certificate of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and hundreds of freedom fighters have been cancelled, says Deputy Press Secretary Azam Mujumdar. Pilgrims from all parts of the world now in Mina for Hajj rituals. Millions rush towards ancestral home to celebrate Eid with near and dear ones. Sacrificial cattle markets have become crowded as Eid al-Adha approaches nearer. Mixed opinion about price. Government working to introduce new curriculum for 2027. There would be newspaper advertisement for appointment of Vice Chancellors, says Education Advisor. Government has announced proposed budget without taking opinion of political parties and common people, alleges BNP. Jamaat-e-Islami to get back its scale symbol, says Election Commission. At least 95 Palestinians killed in Israeli strike in Gaza. Israeli strikes on civilian population amounts to war crime, says UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. Assalamu alaikum, this is Saba Saktir Arshi welcoming you to News at 10. You have just heard the headlines, now on to the details. The Commission of Inquiry on Enforced Disappearances has submitted its second interim report to Chief Advisor Professor Mohammed Yunus. The commission, led by its chairperson Justice Moinul Islam Chaudhary, submitted the report to the Chief Advisor at the State Guest House, Jamuna today. Among the commission members, human rights activist Noor Khan Litton and Shajjad Hussain and BRAC University teacher Nabila Idris were present. Housing and Public Works Advisor Adilur Rahman Khan, National Security Advisor Dr. Khalilur Rahman and Principal Secretary to the Chief Advisor M. Sirajuddin Mia were also present at the time. After receiving the report, the Chief Advisor said arrangements should be made to publish the report on a website and in book form. There is interest in it not only in Bangladesh but also globally. He said that based on what the Disappearance Commission has found, it should serve as a horror museum. The Chief Advisor instructed the Commission members to urgently identify the actionable recommendations from the report and specify which ministry falls under the jurisdiction of each one, so the government can initiate the tasks promptly. British High Commissioner to Bangladesh Sarah Cook called on Chief Advisor Professor Mohammed Yunus today at the State Guest House in Dhaka ahead of his official visit to the United Kingdom. During the meeting, High Commissioner Cook extended her congratulations to Professor Yunus on his forthcoming receipt of the prestigious King Charles Harmony Award. It is a great honor, the Chief Advisor said, referring to the award. Professor Yunus is set to depart Dhaka on June 9 and return on June 13. During the visit, the Chief Advisor is expected to hold meetings with senior British officials. The discussions between the Chief Advisor and the British High Commissioner encompassed a range of mutual interests, including trade and investment, aviation cooperation, migration, and the interim government's efforts in asset recovery. They also discussed the reform initiatives undertaken by the interim government and the latest political developments in Bangladesh. The meeting was also attended by Special Envoy of the Chief Advisor Lutfi Siddiqui, SDG Coordinator Lamia Murshid and Deputy High Commissioner of Britain James Goldman. Later briefing reporters at the Foreign Service Academy, Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam said the intelligence wing of Rapid Action Battalion RAB had worked as a killing force in the incidents of enforced disappearances. He informed that more than 300 individuals among the victims of enforced disappearance are still missing.
আজকে মূলত ছিল হলো টর্চার কিভাবে হয় এই ইন্টারিম রিপোর্টে এবং কারা কারা পারপিট্রেটর ছিল। তো সিঙ্গেল বিগেস্ট যেটা ফাইন্ডিং ছিল যে র্যাবের যে ইন্টেলিজেন্স উইং এটা ছিল মেন মানে যে গুম হয়েছে যারা তার মেন কালপ্রিট বা দ্য কিলার ফোর্স ওনারা বলছেন এটা হচ্ছে র্যাবের ইন্টেলিজেন্স উইং। তারা এই কাজটা সবচেয়ে বেশি ইনভলভ ছিল। এর আগে আপনারা জানতেন যে 1770টার মতো কমপ্লেইন ছিল। আজকের মিটিং এ বলা হয় যে এটা 1837টা বা 50-এর মতো হবে এবং গতকাল পর্যন্ত তারা প্রায় নতুন কেস পাচ্ছেন। এটা নতুন কেস আসছে, এটা এমন না যে বন্ধ হয়ে গেছে। তার মধ্যে 1350টি কেস স্ক্রুটিনাইজ করা হয়েছে। যারা মিসিং হয়েছেন 300 জন, তারা কোথায় আছেন? তারা কি জীবিত আছেন না মৃত হয়েছেন? প্রফেসর বলেছেন, সবাইকে বলেছেন যে এই ট্রুথটা সবাইকে জানাতে, কি ঘটনাগুলো ঘটেছে এটা বাংলাদেশের সবার জন্য জানা উচিত এবং গুম সংক্রান্ত কমিশন এই বিষয়ে আরো সবার এই যতগুলো রিপোর্ট আছে সেগুলো দিবেন।
The press secretary said the chief advisor will visit London from June 9 to 13. During the visit, chief advisor to be honored with prestigious King Charles Harmony Award, the press secretary added.
সাথে দেখা করতে প্রফেসর ইউনূস আপনি জানেন 9 থেকে 13 তারিখ ইউকে ভিজিটে যাচ্ছেন। সেখানে দি কিং চার্লস দ্য থার্ড হারমোনি অ্যাওয়ার্ড উনি পাবেন। এটা খুবই প্রেস্টিজিয়াস একটা অ্যাওয়ার্ড, সেখানে উনি পাবেন। এবং আজকে মিটিংয়ে জানানো হয় যে কিংস চার্লসের সাথে আমাদের চিফ অ্যাডভাইজার একটা মিটিং হবে। বাংলাদেশের থেকে আমরা যেগুলো ইম্পর্টেন্ট ইস্যু সবগুলোই তোলা হবে এই মিটিংগুলোতে।
During the briefing, Deputy Press Secretary Azam said the news of the cancellation of the certificates of more than 100 freedom fighters, including Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, in several newspapers, including Shomokal, Jugantor and Ittefaq, is completely baseless, false and misleading. He said the government will take necessary action against those who publish false news in the future.
আজকে আপনারা দেখেছেন যে সমকাল, যুগান্তর, ইত্তেফাক সহ বেশ কয়েকটা সংবাদপত্রে সংবাদ মাধ্যমে একটা সংবাদ প্রকাশিত হয়েছে যেখানে বলা হয়েছে মুজিবনগর সরকারের রাষ্ট্রপতি শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান, অস্থায়ী রাষ্ট্রপতি সৈয়দ নজরুল ইসলাম, প্রধানমন্ত্রী তাজউদ্দিন আহমেদ এবং দুই মন্ত্রী ক্যাপ্টেন মনসুর আলী ও এইচ.এম. কামরুজ্জামান সহ শতাধিক নেতার মুক্তিযুদ্ধের স্বীকৃতি বাতিল করা হয়েছে। এই খবরটি সম্পূর্ণ মিথ্যা, ভুয়া, ভিত্তিহীন এবং বিভ্রান্তিকর। এ বিষয়ে যেসব সংবাদ মাধ্যম ভুল বিভ্রান্তিকর সংবাদ প্রকাশ করেছেন আমরা আশা করব তারা তাদের ভুলটা সংশোধন করবেন। ঠিক যেখানে তারা ভুল সংবাদটি ছাপিয়েছেন ঠিক একই জায়গায় তারা তাদের সংশোধনী প্রকাশ করে তারা তাদের পাঠকদের কাছে দুঃখ প্রকাশ করবেন এবং আমাদের বাংলাদেশের মানুষ যাদেরকে তারা বিভ্রান্ত করছেন এই ভুল সংবাদ দিয়ে তাদের কাছেও দুঃখ প্রকাশ করবেন।
Chief Advisor Professor Dr. Mohammed Yunus will pay a 4-day bilateral official visit to the United Kingdom from June 10 to 13. Acting Foreign Secretary Ruhul Alam Siddiq informed this at a briefing on the London visit of the Chief Advisor. During the visit, the Chief Advisor will seek special trade benefits as well as returning the smuggled money. Besides, he will also seek fundraising on Rohingya issues and seek support of United Kingdom for their repatriation. During the visit, the Chief Advisor will receive the prestigious King Charles Harmony Award 2025 of Britain. He will also meet King Charles III at Buckingham Palace. Liberation War Affairs Advisor Faruki Azam today said the reports of rescinding recognition of freedom fighter status of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and other leaders as Mujibnagar government are not true. Some newspapers report on revoking the recognition of freedom fighters of more than 100 leaders, including Mujibnagar government's president Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Acting President Syed Nazrul Islam, Prime Minister Tajuddin Ahmed and Ministers Mansur Ali and AHM Kamruzaman is untrue, he said at the Secretariat. Earlier, several newspapers including Shamokal, Jugantor, Ittefaq and Kaler Konto ran misleading news claiming that the recognition of freedom fighters of the President and Prime Minister of the Mujibnagar government and over 100 of leaders has been revoked. Those who fought in the liberation war with arms and those who conducted it were freedom fighters, the advisors said, adding that, however, the officials and employees of the Mujibnagar government are associate freedom fighters. The main ritual of the holy Hajj has begun today as pilgrims set off for Mina. According to ritual, pilgrims don the ihram and reach Mina before the Zuhr prayer. Here they will spend the whole day. The vast plains of Mina will echo today with the resonant chants of Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, Labbaik La Sharika Laka Labbaik, a declaration of devotion to Allah. The following day marks the observance of Yawm al-Arafah, the day of Arafah. On Thursday morning, the pilgrims staying in Mina will proceed to the plains of Arafat. There, from sunrise to sunset, they will engage in worship. After sunset, pilgrims will depart for Muzdalifah, where they will spend the night and collect pebbles to be used in the symbolic stoning of the devil. On the fifth day of Eid train travel, there was a noticeable crowd at Kamalapur railway station from early morning. According to railway authorities, this pressure is expected to increase in the coming days. The railways is prepared to handle the growing crowd, maintaining the schedule and ensuring passengers reach their destination safely. Online ticketing, three-tier security checks and schedule consistency have significantly enhanced the Eid travel experience, bringing extra comfort to travelers. A total of 63 pairs of trains, including 44 intercity, mail, commuter, local and special trains are operating from Kamalapur today. In the morning, the Tista Eid special train departed Kamalapur with a 30-minute delay, while most other trains departed on time. To prevent ticketless travel and manage unauthorized crowds on platforms, a special mobile monitoring team is working daily at Kamalapur. Special railway teams are also active at Kamalapur Airport, Joydepur and other junctions and stations to prevent rooftop travel. Railway authorities have stated that no matter how high the passenger pressure gets, traveling on train rooftops or engines will not be allowed this year. These special teams are operating not only at Kamalapur but also at other stations to strictly prevent rooftop travel. City residents have begun leaving the capital by road to celebrate Eid with their loved ones, leading to a noticeable crowd at every bus terminal. Despite the increase in passenger numbers, no one is facing major difficulties thanks to the addition of more buses. Public transport is operating at government fixed fares and special booths have been set up at each terminal to monitor ticket prices. Passengers express satisfaction as they're not being charged extra during the Eid journey. Meanwhile, in response to the rising passenger pressure, transport authorities have added extra buses. Security has also been tightened at all terminals to ensure a safe and smooth Eid travel experience. Dhaka's cattle markets get momentum ahead of Eid al-Adha. Traders have brought cows, goats and other sacrificial animals in the capital from various parts of the country. Buyers are gathering to the cattle markets to purchase their preferred animals for sacrifice on Eid day. Merul Badda cattle market in the capital is one of the 11 authorized markets under Dhaka North City Corporation. As no markets have been set up this time in Aftabnagar and Meradia, buyers are crowding into this medium-sized market. Traders are optimistic about this year's cattle business. They have already started selling their sacrificial animals. Although it's a newly set up market, the organizers are satisfied with the turnout of buyers. A team from the Department of Livestock is actively working at the market. A similar scene is observed at the Shahjahanpur Rail Colony Maitri Shongha Field Market under Dhaka South City Corporation. Cows, goats and sheep have been brought at this cattle market from many regions including Jamalpur, Netrakona, Notor, Chenaidaho, Gaibandha, Tangail, Joshore, Sherpur, Chuadanga, Moymansinh, Manikganj, Kumilla and Joypurhat. However, there are mixed reaction about the price of the sacrificial animals. Meanwhile, special security measures have been taken at all cattle markets in the capital. The government is working to introduce new curriculum in 2027. Education advisor Ziyar Abrar said the ministry is working to create foundations for standard curriculum to face the emerging challenges. The advisor was exchanging opinion with a group of journalists on forthcoming HSC exam 2025 and other issues relating to Education Ministry at Secretariat in Dhaka today. Dr. Abrar said there is a search committee comprising UGC representatives and distinguished professors to select vice-chancellors of different universities. New vice-chancellors will get appointment on the basis of merit and competition. He said from July onwards, college teachers would be transferred via online system. Dr. Abrar said zero tolerance policy will be adopted in case of any future reported corruption. Finance advisor Dr. Salehuddin Ahmed said that the proposed budget for the next fiscal year will be passed on to the 22nd of June. He made this statement while speaking to journalists today at the Secretariat after a meeting of the Government Procurement Advisory Council Committee. The finance advisor said that the country is heading into an extended holiday starting tomorrow due to Eid al-Azha. However, he assured that despite the long holiday, there will be no impact on the country's economy. Regarding reactions to the budget, the advisor said that feedback and comments on the budget will be reviewed after Eid. The Election Commission has decided to return the registration of Bangladesh Jamaat-e-Islami with Daripallah symbol. Election Commissioner Abul Fazl Mohammad Sanaullah made the disclosure to newsmen in the capital this afternoon. According to the RPO, if a symbol is provided to a specific political party, that symbol is reserved for the party. As a result, the party will be registered with that particular symbol. Replying to another query of the newsman, Election Commissioner Abul Fazl Mohammad Sanaullah said that the Election Commission is seriously considering the observations of the Appellate Division regarding the Dhaka South City Corporation elections.
পানির অপর নাম জীবন। আমাদের দেশে কৃষিতে, বিশেষ করে ধান চাষে, শিল্প কলকারখানায়, গৃহস্থালী সহ নানান কাজে পানির সুষ্ঠু ব্যবহারের অভাবে আমরা প্রচুর পানি অপচয় করে থাকি। ভূগর্ভস্থ পানির এরকম ব্যবহারের ফলে আমাদের পানির স্তর ক্রমান্বয়ে নিচে নেমে যাচ্ছে। পানি আমাদের অর্থনৈতিক, সামাজিক, বাস্তুতান্ত্রিক এবং পরিবেশগত সকল ক্ষেত্রে বিশেষ অবদান রাখছে। তাই আসুন আমরা পানি ব্যবহারে সচেতন হই।
Now international news. At least 95 Palestinians have been killed and 440 injured in Israeli attacks across Gaza in the past 24 hours, according to Enclave's health ministry. Israel's military has warned starving Palestinians in Gaza against approaching roads to the U.S.-backed aid distribution sites run by the controversial Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF. Aid distribution sites will be closed for a whole day for renovation, reorganization and efficient improvement work. Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council is set to vote on a resolution calling for a ceasefire and humanitarian access to Gaza, a measure expected to be vetoed by the United States. Israel's attack on Gaza has killed at least 54,607 Palestinians and wounded 1,25,341, according to the health ministry. South Korea's center-left Lee Jae-myung was declared president Wednesday after winning a snap election, taking the helm of a nation deeply divided after his predecessor's disastrous attempt to declare martial law. Lee won a thumping victory over conservative Kim Moon-soo of disgraced ex-president Yoon Suk-yeol's former party, with his term beginning immediately after the National Election Commission certified the vote tally early Wednesday. Lee secured 49.4% of the vote, far ahead of Kim on 41.2%, who was hampered by party infighting and a third-party candidate splitting the right-wing vote. In a regular presidential election, South Korea allows for a months-long transition period, but as Lee's victory came in a snap election after Yoon's impeachment, his term began right away. The National Election Commission hereby declares Lee Jae-myung of the Democratic Party as the elected president, National Election Commission chairperson Roh Tae-yak said early Wednesday. Kim had conceded hours earlier as final votes were still being counted. Official results showed he had no chance of winning. In a speech to supporters early Wednesday, Lee urged South Koreans to move forward with hope and make a fresh start from this moment on. In order to reach a new agreement on Iran's nuclear program, the United States must clearly explain how the sanctions will be lifted. This comment was made yesterday by Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai. He stated that there must be a real end to the sanctions and it should be detailed how and through what processes they will be lifted. Baghai said the American side has not yet provided the necessary clarity on this matter. The spokesperson of Iran's foreign ministry further stated that Iran will continue uranium enrichment for peaceful purposes. He made such comments after the United States claimed to have submitted an acceptable proposal a few days ago. A leaked United Nations report states that Iran has increased its uranium enrichment to 60%, which, while still below the nearly 90% necessary for nuclear weapons, is significantly higher than the approximately 4% required for power generation. Baghai dismissed the report as biased, claiming that some Western countries are pressuring the United Nations to act against Iran's interests. The frenzied celebration in Bengaluru over RCB winning the IPL after 18 long years took a tragic turn, with at least 11 people feared dead in stampedes at 2 locations. The chaos began after a crowd gathered near M. Chinnaswamy Stadium for a felicitation of the team held by the Karnataka State Cricket Association KSCA. 2 of the 11 people died during another frenzied crush on the premises of the Vidhana Soudha, where the RCB squad proceeded from the airport to meet with Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. Visuals showed police shifting injured and unconscious people to a nearby hospital. Many people who came to watch the celebrations fainted amid the stampede, eyewitnesses said. Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister Dr. Shiva Kumar said the crowd was uncontrollable. He apologized for the overcrowding. Some tax benefits have been proposed in the next fiscal year budget to stimulate the capital market. Among the proposals are an increase in the tax rate gap between listed and non-listed companies, a reduction in the source tax on broker house transactions, and a lower corporate tax rate for merchant banks. In the budget speech, Finance Advisor Dr. Salihuddin Ahmed mentioned several other positive government initiatives related to the capital market to motivate profitable and renowned domestic and foreign companies to list on the stock exchange. The tax rate gap between listed and non-listed companies has been increased from 5% to 7.5%. The budget also proposes a 10% reduction in the corporate tax rate for merchant banks. Although merchant banks are not actual banks, they currently pay taxes at the same rate as banks. In the upcoming fiscal year, merchant banks will be taxed at a rate of 27.5%. This reduction in tax may bring some relief to financially struggling merchant banks in the stock market. In response to demands from stockbrokers, the budget proposes reducing the source tax rate on transactions. According to the proposal, broker houses will have to pay source tax at a rate of 0.03% instead of existing 0.05%. Stakeholders have welcomed the government's efforts regarding the capital market. BNP has alleged that the government has announced the proposed budget for the 2025-26 fiscal by bypassing the opinion of the political parties and the people. BNP Standing Committee member Amir Khasru Mahmood Choudhury made the allegation in a reaction to the proposed budget at the party chairperson's Gulshan political office in the capital this afternoon. He said that in the absence of a parliament or democratic government, it was expected that the interim government would engage in talks with the political parties involved in the anti-fascism movement and take public opinion into account while preparing the budget. However, that did not happen. Describing the budget as conventional, the BNP leader said that if people from all levels are included, then this budget could have representation of an integrated economic perspective. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Bangladesh, ICAB, has welcomed the proposed national budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. President of ICAB, Ms. Maria Hauladar, FCA, described it as strategic and business-friendly budget. She said the proposed budget considered economic uncertainties. She made this observation at a ICAB session on national budget at CA Bhavan in Dhaka. Despite challenges imposed by high inflation, global economic instability and political changes at home, the government has proposed a development expenditure of Dhaka 2,30,000 crore. ICAB also congratulated the government led by Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus and thanked the Finance Minister for placing what it called a time-befitting and well-analyzed budget. According to a ICAB media release, the proposed budget amounts to Dhaka 7,90,000 crore, equivalent to 12.7% of the country's gross domestic product, GDP. This is the first national budget of Bangladesh which recognizes women's non-salaried work and household works. South Asian Federation of Accountants SAFA representative Muhammad Humayun Kabir FCA conducted the session virtually. Snehashish Mahmud and Snehashish Borua made a PowerPoint presentation. Now weather. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said light to moderate rain or thunder showers with lightning flashes and temporary gusty wind is likely to occur at many places over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Dhaka, Moimansingh and Sylhet divisions and at a few places over Khulna, Borishal and Chattogram divisions. Besides moderately heavy to heavy falls likely to occur at places over the country. Night and day temperature may remain nearly unchanged over the country. Today, country's highest temperature was recorded at 34.5 degrees Celsius in Chuadanga, and capital Dhaka's highest temperature was 30.4 degrees Celsius. Now news on sports. Bangladesh beat Bhutan by 2-0 in the FIFA International Friendly. Canada-based midfielder Shahid Shom arrived in Dhaka this morning to make his Bangladesh debut in the Asian Cup qualifier against Singapore on June 10. The 26-year-old midfielder Shom's inclusion in the 26-member preliminary squad for the June 10 clash against Singapore signals the next phase of Bangladesh football's midfield transformation, a process that began with the arrival of Hamza Choudhury. The addition of Shomit Shom, who has spent 9 years playing in Canada's top-flight football with Cavalry FC, is expected to fill attacking gap. His experience and skill could provide the attacking edge Bangladesh needs to convert midfield dominance into goals. To end the bulletin, headlines once again. Investigation Commission on Enforced Disappearance submits second interim report to Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus. Over 300 victims of enforced disappearance still missing, says Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam. Different newspapers Pilgrims from all parts of the world now in Mina for Hajj rituals. Millions rush towards ancestral home to celebrate Eid with near and dear ones. Sacrificial cattle markets have become crowded as Eid al-Azha approaches nearer. Mixed opinion about price. Government working to introduce new curriculum for 2027. There would be newspaper advertisement for appointment of vice chancellors, says education advisor. Government has announced proposed budget without taking opinion of political parties and common people, alleges BNP. Jamaat-e-Islami to get back its scale symbol, says Election Commission. At least 95 Palestinians killed in Israeli strike in Gaza. Israeli strikes on civilian population amounts to war crime, says UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. And Bangladesh beat Bhutan by 2-0 in the FIFA International Friendly at the National Stadium today. That's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us. Until next time.